In the glamorous world of hip-hop and fame, very few relationships capture public attention the way Yo Gotti and Angela Simmons did. What seemed like a modern-day love story, a tale of ambition, transformation, and connection, has now turned into one of the most shocking revelations in celebrity gossip. For years, Yo Gotti, the Memphis rap mogul who climbed from the streets to the top of the charts, painted himself as the man who had it all: success, luxury, respect, and eventually, love. And that love, for him, was Angela Simmons, the daughter of hip-hop royalty and a woman known for her grace, faith, and resilience. When Gotti finally got Angela after years of publicly admiring her, fans celebrated it as a real-life dream come true. But as the old saying goes, everything that glitters isn't gold. What once looked like a fairy tale romance has now become a cautionary story about hidden truths, unspoken pain, and a past that refuses to stay buried. Today, we're diving deep into what really went wrong between Angela Simmons and Yo Gotti. According to sources close to the couple, Angela has exposed the dark truth behind Gotti's carefully constructed image, including secrets about a hidden family and personal issues that could tarnish everything he's worked so hard to build. So grab a seat, because this story gets darker than anyone could have imagined. When Yo Gotti first expressed his admiration for Angela Simmons, it became one of hip-hop's most viral moments. He mentioned her in interviews, rapped about her in songs, and even told the world that she was his dream woman. Fans cheered for him because it wasn't just about love, it was about manifestation. A man from humble beginnings who once sold mixtapes out of his car had manifested a romance with one of hip-hop's most admired women. For Angela, who had already lived much of her life in the spotlight thanks to Run's House and her entrepreneurial career, Gotti's pursuit seemed flattering. She saw in him a man who understood hustle, family, and ambition, the very qualities she valued most. When they finally confirmed their relationship, the internet exploded with excitement. Every photo they shared looked like the embodiment of Black love goals. From private jet trips to romantic vacations, they projected an image of unity, growth, and power. But even in those early days, some insiders noticed a tension that didn't quite fit the picture-perfect narrative. Angela, always transparent about her faith and values, reportedly had concerns about Gotti's past and his lingering connections to certain people and situations from his earlier life. At first, she ignored the signs, believing that love could change things, but soon the cracks began to show. Behind the glossy photos and coordinated appearances, Angela began noticing inconsistencies in Gotti's stories. Sources say she grew suspicious after discovering that he was frequently communicating with people he never mentioned before, mostly women from his past. One in particular reportedly raised red flags when Angela found messages suggesting emotional ties that hadn't been completely cut. But the most shocking discovery came later. According to multiple insiders, Angela uncovered evidence that Yo Gotti had a hidden child, one that he had never publicly acknowledged. While it wasn't entirely a secret that Gotti had older children, Angela allegedly found out that there was another child he had chosen to keep out of the spotlight completely. The reason, she was told, was to protect his image. For Angela, this revelation was devastating. She had always seen herself as a family-oriented woman, grounded in honesty and transparency. The idea that Gotti could hide such a major part of his life shattered her trust. Reports claim she confronted him about it, but Gotti dismissed her concerns, saying he wanted to keep his family matters private. However, Angela couldn't shake the feeling that his privacy was really avoidance, a way to rewrite his past to fit the successful image he portrayed publicly. She reportedly told a close friend, "How can you love me completely when you can't even face your own truth?" Yo Gotti's journey to fame is one of grit and ambition. From his early days in Memphis to building his CMG, collective music group, empire, he has always controlled his narrative. He transformed himself from a street hustler into a polished businessman, partnering with brands and mentoring rising stars like Moneybagg Yo and Glorilla. His brand was built on respect, discipline, and loyalty. But Angela allegedly began to see a darker side of that control, an obsession with how he was perceived. Every photo, every caption, and every appearance had to be approved or aligned with his vision. Insiders say Angela felt suffocated by the image management. What started as admiration for his professionalism became frustration over his emotional unavailability. In private, Gotti was reportedly distant and guarded. Angela, who was open about her emotions and spirituality, began to feel like she was in love with a man who didn't know how to love beyond control. She allegedly told her friends that Gotti treated life like a business transaction. Even relationships had to fit his brand. And when she questioned him about his family again, he allegedly grew defensive, telling her she didn't understand the pressures he faced as a public figure. That conversation, insiders say, marked the beginning of the end. The breaking point came when Angela reportedly discovered that Yo Gotti had been financially supporting one of his past partners in secret. While she initially believed it was simply child support, what shocked her was the level of contact he maintained with the woman. Rumors claim Angela felt humiliated. She believed Gotti had manipulated her into believing his past was behind him, when, in truth, he was still entangled in it. The betrayal wasn't about money, it was about honesty. The argument that followed was said to be explosive. According to people close to both parties, Angela accused Gotti of living a lie, pretending to be a family man while hiding the family he didn't want the world to see. For Angela, it wasn't just about their relationship anymore. It was about integrity, about truth. She had always been transparent with her fans and her faith, and she couldn't stand beside someone whose foundation was built on secrets. Soon after their alleged breakup, online blogs and gossip pages began circulating rumors about Gotti's secret family. Screenshots of conversations and old photos resurfaced, showing a side of Gotti most fans had never seen before. Angela, though initially silent, later appeared in an interview where she spoke about men who live double lives and truths that will always find their way to the light. While she didn't name Yo Gotti directly, fans immediately connected the dots. Her tone was calm, but her words carried the weight of heartbreak and betrayal. She said, "You can't build something real on lies. Eventually, the truth reveals itself, no matter how deep you try to bury it." The internet exploded. Fans split into two camps, those who supported Angela for standing up for herself and those who defended Gotti, claiming that not every part of a man's life needs to be public. But regardless of opinion, the narrative had changed. The perfect couple image had been shattered, and Gotti's once polished reputation began to take hits. So, who exactly is this family that Yo Gotti didn't want the world to see? Reports suggest that before fame, Gotti had relationships with women who stood by him during his struggle years. Some of those relationships resulted in children, but as his career grew, those connections reportedly faded into the background. To Gotti's credit, sources claim he financially supports all his children, but his decision to exclude certain family members from his public life raised eyebrows, especially among those who knew how devoted Angela was to family values. Angela allegedly told friends that she respected Gotti's need for privacy, but what broke her was the intentional secrecy, the feeling that he was rewriting his own story at the expense of others. She felt that if he could hide something that important, then what else was he capable of hiding? Her frustration was understandable. She had allowed him into her world, her family, her son, her faith, and expected the same transparency in return. Instead, she got silence and half-truths. After the revelations, Angela chose to step away quietly. Instead of engaging in online drama, she focused on her businesses, motherhood, and personal healing. Her social media posts subtly reflected her emotional state, quotes about peace, growth, and moving forward. One of her most viral posts read, "Sometimes God reveals the truth to protect your peace. Let him." Fans immediately saw it as a message directed toward Yo Gotti. Meanwhile, Gotti's silence spoke volumes. He made no public statements, no denials, and no explanations. For a man who's never been shy about addressing rumors in his music, his decision to remain quiet seemed deliberate. Some believe he's protecting his brand. Others think he's genuinely reflecting on the fallout. Whatever the reason, his image as the man who had it all, money, power, love, has taken a serious hit. Industry insiders say several major interviews and brand deals were quietly paused after the controversy as the media waited to see how the situation would unfold. Angela's focus now is self-growth. She's been spending more time with her son, traveling, and launching new business ventures that align with her faith and empowerment values. Many of her supporters see this as her rebirth, a chance to rediscover herself after years of being in someone else's shadow. As for Gotti, he's reportedly poured his energy back into music, but even his new songs, fans say, carry a darker, more reflective tone. He seems aware that the world now views him differently. The family man narrative no longer fits as seamlessly as it once did. Some of his associates have subtly addressed the situation, saying Gotti's past is complicated and that people shouldn't judge him for wanting to separate his personal and professional lives. But in the court of public opinion, silence often equals guilt, and for now, the mystery remains unsolved. At the end of the day, what Angela Simmons did wasn't just about revenge. It was about reclaiming her voice. She reminded women everywhere that no amount of fame or luxury should make you stay silent when your peace is disturbed. Her courage to walk away from someone as powerful as Yo Gotti showed that emotional honesty matters more than image. In her world, truth isn't negotiable, it's necessary. Yo Gotti, on the other hand, now faces the challenge of reconciling his public persona with his private realities. The truth always comes at a price, and for him, that price might be the trust of his fans and the woman who once loved him deeply. The story of Angela Simmons and Yo Gotti isn't just about betrayal. It's about what happens when love meets illusion. In the entertainment world, perception is everything, but the truth always finds a way to shine through the cracks. Angela's strength lies not just in exposing Gotti's dark truth, but in choosing herself afterward. She didn't seek sympathy, she sought clarity. And as for Gotti, the empire he built may still stand tall, but its foundation now carries shadows of secrets, hidden families, and unanswered questions. Maybe one day, Yo Gotti will step forward and tell his side. Until then, the silence surrounding his dark truth speaks louder than any song or social media post ever could. What do you think? Was Angela right to expose what she found, or should some truths remain behind closed doors? Let us know in the comments below, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more deep dives into the stories behind the stars.